welcome to Reality Hour. I'm Adam Samuel. Today, we are talking about the final week of the quarterfinals. Is that the term for it? I think that's what this round is called, right, Eric?
Technically, it shouldn't be, but keep going.
All right, well, joining me for this recap is my co-host, Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. I mean, we don't really need to introduce ourselves with Lynn anymore because we're both on screen at the same time now. But who cares? It's fun. We'll keep doing it. It's fun. This was a good episode. Good week. Could have been better, but it was good.
I mentioned this earlier before we went live. It's not actually live. It's before we started taping. I said this was probably my favorite week of America's Got Talent this season. I'm gonna go on record and say that. Did you feel the same, Eric?
I did not. Last week I liked better.
Well, I had the most enjoyment out of this performance. I think there were some instances that I didn't like where, and also one instant during the results show that kind of did rub me a little bit the wrong way, all the way down to the last second with how they handled the results. But we will talk about it all in a couple. We will get to it all a little later in the show. But overall, Eric, what are your general thoughts on this week of performances?
I don't think we saw the winner this week, but we saw a couple of possible finalists, maybe. I don't think we saw anyone who's making the top 3 this week, honestly.
That would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it. I mean, all right, I agree. I don't think we're going to see a winner, or we saw the winner from this performance episode, but I really enjoyed what we got out of it. It did remind me of old school America's Got Talent, and for some segments of this episode, it kind of usually, like I said, for this season, I don't always, but just for this season, I usually there's part of me snark watching the show, and for this episode, I didn't. I kind of enjoyed it, and it was good.
Great.
All right, but one of the big things that I kind of came away with from these 2 episodes, we got some news on the results show. Coming up next week, we are going to be having a guest judge on America's Got Talent on the panel. Eric, is this show giving me false hope that maybe it might be Howard Stern?
It's 100% giving you false hope. That would be amazing. It's not gonna be.
Have you heard any news about this? What have we ever had a guest judge during the live shows?
We have not, and it's a stupid idea. So I was hoping we wouldn't, but we're gonna. So we'll deal.
If I've learned anything though about what this means, if I know Simon Cowell, what this is a test run for a future judge that they are in consideration for next season. They did this with Terry Crews. Nope.
I don't think so. What I think this is more like the guest judge is getting a golden buzzer. Let's face facts. Let's cut the shit and say that.
No, don't do that. We're finally through with it.
No, we're not. Because we need to milk that.
No,
that's the whole reason it's happening. That's the only reason it would happen.
I never even thought about that, and you're totally right. No! It makes so much sense. No.
I'm sorry I ruined that for you, but that's exactly what's gonna happen.
No. I thought we were done. Soon enough, Eric, there is going to be a time in the America's Got Talent future where it's going to be finale night, and there's going to be a golden buzzer for the winner.
No, there won't be.
They're just Cody Lee. They're just gonna put it right there. Right there. He's going to
by the way, he's getting it again. If he's eligible to get it again, he's getting it again.
That's absurd. They can't do that in the live shows. The whole point is that it's a fast pass to the live shows.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it past him. Anyway, let's hope I'm wrong, but I know I'm right.
All right. Well, let's kind of not bury the headline and kind of let's talk some results first. So we had our 12 performances, and we had our contestants moving on. The contestants moving on are Detroit Youth Choir, Imane Biasha, Eric Chen, Don Chambers, Benicio Bryant, Jackie Fabulous, and Marcin, whose last name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I'm going to ask you this question, Eric. Did we get the right result?
Mostly.
All right, explain.
There were a couple acts there's one act I would have put through over. I don't know which act I would switch out for, but I would have put Barry Wong through over someone else.
For me, I think I'm happy with the result. If I would maybe tweak it, I would maybe toss Jackie Fabulous. I don't know if I would put Barry Worm. I might go Lucas and Falco, honestly. I don't. It's kind of one of those decisions where it's like it's the bottom of the ranking. You're switching out 7th and 8th place for me. Like it doesn't it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. It's like I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
Oh yeah, none of them are gonna win, but
all right. But if we do have a winner from this episode, who do you think it might be?
there isn't gonna be one, but the only person I think who could possibly win out of this episode, Dom Chambers, honestly.
I
hope not, and I really hope not.
It's funny. Going into this episode, this episode had my remaining favorite contestant of the season, and until I saw the result, I had hopes that maybe he could somehow manage to pull out a win. It was Marcin. I really enjoy his performance style. I love what it is. It's epic, and yet he needed the judge's choice. He didn't even get the Duncan save. So that kind of
goes that. There goes that possibility for you.
He was my favorite going into that.
Yeah, I know.
Since I lost my golden buzzer, I think he was my number one. Him and Light Balance Kids, and it's not boding well.
It is not.
All right, but we did actually get a wild card for this episode. A wild card that a lot of people had been pretty excited about. Matthew Richardson. He actually got a buzz from one of the judges. What were your thoughts on this wild card pick and kind of what ended up happening with him?
No surprise, honestly. I mean, Simon didn't put him through in the first place. And honestly, the act was good, but honestly, I just got dizzy watching it. I didn't think it was that spectacular, so.
Yeah, a lot of people were really hyped about him. I remember his judge cuts being kind of a big thing, and people were a bit shocked. But like I said in the past, in traditional reality competition shows, when you hear a wild card, you think like that's a contestant that maybe has a shot to come back. Wild cards don't fare well on these shows. They're not. I don't think they're even meant to do well. They're a fodder spot. They're an extra spot that's kind of just needs to be filled to go home. And
seems like it. Yeah.
That's kind of basically the situation of what happened with Matthew Richardson.
Yep.
Another thing that I did want to talk about, some people are talking about chemistry between the judges. So we have two new judges whose name I brutally messed up last time we podcasted. What are your thoughts on how we've seen them for a couple of rounds? What are your thoughts on their judging?
Nothing great, but nothing terrible. They're not terrible, but they're nothing inspiring. So I don't care. I mean, take them or leave them.
I really miss Mel B. She was probably my favorite judge after Howard Stern left, and for as much as her antics were kind of a little bit with Simon, it seemed a little bit forced. I enjoyed her judging. She was my favorite, and these two knuckleheads replacing her are just kind of giving standing ovations to everyone, and they're not offering any criticism. At least Mel B criticized
occasionally.
I saw someone did a graphic of all the performances from this episode, and the judges, they gave standing ovations to everyone. The meaning of standing ovations has just gone.
Now the meaning is if you don't get a standing ovation, that's the meaning.
You're basically technically you should just be eliminated. There's it's like we say you're just quietly taken out back and just put to rest.
Okay.
All right. So, shall we actually get into these performances?
Let's do it.
All right. 1 second. One other thing I do just want to touch on kind of really quickly. So next week we are going to have the semifinals. Um, any thoughts on kind of the overall contestant batch that are going to be performing then?
Eh, well, a couple I like, basically.
Who's on the list? Could you uh,
I don't have it memorized, so we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. I'm gonna edit this part out.
let me
So.
just get to my notes very casually. All right, so we have our performances. So first up, Detroit Youth Choir. We saw them all the way back in the auditions. It feels like forever ago. Like we saw them so long ago. They are performing. I didn't know what song this was at first. What was it, Eric?
Was it The Champion by Carrie Underwood? I forget.
All right. Well, it's a choir, so you kind of know what it's going to be. But what did you think about how these kids did?
They're good, but it doesn't matter because choirs don't win these shows even when they're spectacular. And so without being spectacular, they're doomed.
Choirs will always have the short end of the stick on America's Got Talent. Them and bands, I think, are two categories that are just
bands piss me off, and I'll go into detail on that another time.
I almost feel like it needs to be like a show choir, like it needs to be like a Glee, like where it's kind of each. I don't know. I just think like how would you fix this problem? Like how do you make it so a choir can actually like they're good, they're good kids, they give a good performance, but it's kind of just because of aspects that are out of their control that kind of take it away from them. What do you think would be that the fix to kind of make it so maybe a choir could one day actually win these shows?
I don't know, honestly. I don't think choir ever is going to win America's Got Talent.
They've never won Britain's Got Talent.
No, and there've been amazing choirs on Britain's Got Talent that have never won.
All right, well,
in fact, they've never made like the top 3. I don't think. I mean, there's been one that made the top 3 once, but
I just makes me feel bad because I did enjoy this performance. I didn't like it. It's just one of those things where it's just a category where you have no choice but to kind of like immediately discard it, which is a shame because they are talented. I think though, what did both choirs advance to the semis?
Yeah, they did. Both of them did.
Do you think any of them make finale? Do you think they've?
Nope.
Yikes! All right. Well, let's
move on.
I do actually have one conspiracy theory that I do want to toss out to you, Eric, and I want to hear your thoughts. So we have never seen them make it to the live show, to the finale, right? So this is me putting on a tinfoil hat, and you're gonna just give me 2 seconds. So at the finale, we usually sometimes in the past couple of seasons we've had tours, right? From contestants that make it to the finale sometimes.
Tours, you mean? Yes or no?
So my prediction, my thought process is that they don't have choirs make it to finale night because that's a lot of people to put on a tour. That is my tinfoil hat theory. Because there are a lot of kids in these choirs. I mean, and that's a lot of people.
Here's the disproving of that theory. They let dance troupes go with more people.
Maybe the dance troupes are adults.
No. Not all of them.
My theory.
Yeah, your theory was hilarious, but it's totally wrong.
I mean, that's a lot of people to like pay for buses. Like that takes the bus from like
last year's runner-ups were a dance troupe with like hundreds of people in them, basically.
It was a good theory. It sounded good in my head.
But good effort.
It sounded good in my head. That could be the title of this podcast.
No.
All right.
Much better title coming up.
Oh, I do want to mention, what did you think about Simon Cowell? Bright red shirt for the performance. I saw some tweets about that. Any thoughts?
I honestly could care less. Coming from someone who almost always wears black, I don't care.
He's like a human version of Lego Batman, where he's like, I only wear black, and like I only use black, and he only uses white and black shirts. When anything is different, it's like, oh.
Phillips of a judging panel, same outfit every week.
Yeah, and when it's like just every now and then he just wants to wear something different just to keep the audience guessing.
Okay.
Let's talk about Lucas and Falco. A dog act. We get these literally every season. There's always one, sometimes even two. We always get like the solo the dog act with like the one trainer and the dog, and then we also have like the family with the dogs. Almost every season, except this year the family act got cut during the judge cuts. Anyway, so of all the of the many talents that kind of come and go on America's Got Talent, I am of the opinion that dog training is probably one of the hardest, just because that's the amount of just
patience
and just commitment. I would give up after literally.
My family has given up. So
you have a dog and you've tried training to do tricks?
Well, my mom kind of ruins it every time, but I'll put some pictures of my dog in the podcast now, so
you can do like click like one of those snapshots, like snap, 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 and it'll be like dogs.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, they are performing one of my favorite songs of all time, "All the Small Things," and it's like a weird mushroom theme that they've got going for this performance. What did you think about them?
Ready for my kill me now moment of the episode? You know where this is going, right?
I'm a little afraid.
I agree with Howie. Kill me now.
What was Howie saying?
There weren't any new tricks. I've seen this a million times before.
I mean, from like a general standpoint, it's a dog act. Like there's not that much growth to kind of go with it. Like it is going to be limited. Like the dog is not going to be doing handstands and like.
You're right. But we've seen it so many times before that it's like not impressive anymore to me.
I can agree with that. It is exactly what we've seen in the past. It's kind of the same shtick. I am just still blown away by the fact of what the talent actually is.
It's impressive once or twice, but would you pay to see this in Vegas?
I don't think I would pay to see about 99.9% of the acts of the season.
Neither would I, but that's not the point. Would you? Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but I don't know how a dog act can carry a 90-minute show like that.
That's the problem.
It's like.
And the problem is actually that almost none of the acts on the show that are like really unique can do that. So
it's not so much that they're a viable act postseason. It's an act like Lucas and Falco is more an America's Got Talent act than it is a show postseason.
Not for after a show. Yeah.
Exactly. Which. Yeah, I you know how it is. Anyway, but I will say I did enjoy it. I would maybe have swapped them in, but either it would be apples and oranges. Like it's the last thing. But anyway, any final thoughts on them?
Nope.
All right, let's talk about Dom Chambers. He is a magician. We saw he is one of those contestants is one of those rare, like very rare, like people that come on these shows that they kind of get better like as the performances kind of go on. Eric might disagree, but I think every round this dude stepped it up. Eric,
I disagree. I strongly disagree. I think this is a giant step backwards.
All right, so tell me why you feel that way.
Because the first few tricks interacting with the screen were great, but the main trick was exactly what Lim did last week, except even less impressive. Because he had everything written on the card, so he didn't have to memorize anything to pull it off. So honestly, I would have sent him home. I would have. I really thought this was such a weak trick that was so easily guessable. But like, no matter what they picked, it was obviously gonna end up the same way. And plus, don't tease me with Piff as an option on the screen and then bring out Tape Face.
It was funny when I was watching this. Like I didn't get the trick until kind of afterwards, like once I had watched it a second time. So there was a part of me that when they show all these actors, by the way, they had a pretty nice array of kind of performers from the past couple of seasons. So when Tape Face kind of appears on stage, there was a part of me, a tiny part, that was like, did they maybe have like all those acts backstage and they just like, selected Tape Face?
No, they knew. The thing is, any of those things, if you put them together in any way would give you the same result as how it worked.
I know, but in the moment, like I was thinking, like maybe like Darcy Lynn is backstage and she's looking at her watch and going, "I took a plane for this." Like I was.
See, I can't even laugh at that because it's so obvious that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. This is one of those contestants that it doesn't stand up on a second viewing for me. I enjoyed the first performance. I thought it was good. I thought it was one of the standouts of the episode. And
For me, what pissed me off is later on when Simon completely threw Eric Chen under the bus, because there's no comparison. Eric Chen's trick was a million times better than this trick.
I have thoughts on Eric Chen, and we will be going over him in full in a second. But otherwise, any last impressions on Dom?
Nope, not really. I was a little disappointed, but
I can't disagree more. I really enjoyed this performance. It didn't hold up on a second viewing, but the first viewing was pretty good.
The couple of tricks where he's interacting with the screen held up and the part where Tape Face appears out of nowhere was nice. Other than that, I knew everything. The body of the trick sucked for me.
Okay. It was nice to see Tape Face, though. It's always nice to see.
I would have preferred to see Piff, but let's continue.
I like Tape Face, I think, more than Piff, honestly.
The show's over. Bye, everybody.
Maybe it's just because Tape Face is kind of more the silly, kind of ridiculous humor that's kind of more
You are
up my lane.
so wrong.
I love them both. They're two of my favorite contestants, but Tape Face is kind of that like slightly childish, kind of nonsensical humor. Like it reminds me of a little bit of like How to Basic. Are you familiar with that channel?
No, but I know that I have some editing to do on this podcast now. Hooray!
He's gonna put a clown face.
No, I'm gonna put some audio sound effects in there.
All
So
right,
we'll get to it.
Let's talk about Benicio Bryan, who I was kind of surprised actually ended up advancing. After watching this performance, I thought he was probably going to be in trouble. He is performing an original song. What did you think of Benicio?
The problem was the song did nothing for him. He's got a great voice and did not get to show it off at all with this song. So hopefully next week is better. I mean, I don't know if it will be, but
The thing is, the song kind of sounded like every song that kids nowadays like write in high school. Like it didn't seem
real.
It felt generic. I didn't believe the words. Do you think he wrote this song?
Maybe, I don't know.
All right, well, I mean, one of the things I will say is I believe that Benicio has one of the best voices in the competition.
I think of the kid singers, he's got the best voice in the competition.
Yeah, and he's one of those contestants where I don't think it's smart that he's going with original music for these rounds. I think he should be going with covers because he's too young. Either the songs that are being handed to him aren't up to his level, or he's above. Like he can do better with kind of the songs that show off his voice more. But I will say I can understand the flip side of that because Benicio is not going to win this season. But
no,
America's Got Talent is a huge platform to show off music.
Yes.
And it's like a monkey's paw. It's like you can accept that you're not going to win and kind of let go. All right, I'm not going to win, but I'm going to ride this out and try to establish myself as a post-show act, or I can play the AGT game and kind of drain the originality and kind of follow what other acts have done in the past. I can't fault him for it. I don't think it's a bad call, honestly.
I don't either, but the song did not help him. So
True. Do you think he'll do another original next round, or do you think it's back to big music?
I don't know, but I hope if he does an original, I hope it's a better original than this one.
I will say though, I think the semis is where this journey ends for him.
I think so too.
All right. Well, let's move on to Gonzo. He's like he is in the vein of he's that WTF contestant in the vein of Yumbo Dump. What is this act, Eric?
I don't know what it is. All I know is that Gonzo is finally gone, so I'm happy.
I'm kind of sad that we lost him. I wrote a tweet that it was like, rip in peace to Gonzo's AGT run. May a chorus of Howie Mandel angels sing me to thy rest.
I prefer my joke. Gonzo is gone, so.
I like Gonzo. I mean, he is what I love about the like. He is what the silly part of modern America's Got Talent that I kind of enjoy. I enjoyed this performance. I believe that Gonzo might just be one of the greatest talents of our generation. I mean, it is what it is, Eric. It's a guy dancing with a tambourine. It's nothing more. It's exactly what you would think it would be, and I can respect it for being what it is.
He's gone, so.
Oh God, Eric with the puns. Yeah, not much though to say with him. I mean, he had like kids doing dance. There was a little bit that was like, it was almost reminding me of the Gangnam Style video, like a tiny
God.
bit, which brought back very dark memories. Remember when it was the #1 video on YouTube for like a long time?
Yes, unfortunately, I remember that.
It's not #1 though anymore, right?
I would hope.
It was that and like Baby by Justin Bieber were kind of.
Oh
There was a
God.
whole push.
We're just terrible.
It was like 2009.
2009 people really sucked. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. Well,
Let's move on to another more evidence that people really suck. How about that? Shall we?
Let's move on to Marcin. He is Alejandro Aranda if he didn't sing. That is what he is. And you know what, Eric, you knocked Alejandro for you said he was a great guitar player, but not a great singer. I think Marcin might be a better guitar player. In fact, probably is a better guitar player.
Is.
So, what did you think about him?
Really good. I am pissed that he needed the judges save because if you base it on talent, he's the top 2 of the night, probably #1 of the night. Deserves to make the finale. He won't because he needed the judges save, which pisses me off because he's so good.
He was my #1.
He's up. It's a coin toss for me, but he's probably my #1 as well.
He was my #1 going into the episode, and he was my #1 leaving the episode. I love this. This is prime America's Got Talent. This is what the show is about. It's not singers, it's not bands, it's not little kids with sob stories. It's a dude and he's playing guitar and he's playing it epically. That's the word to describe it. Epic. I love this. Like I can't. I've watched it like 4 times already, and it was just 2 days ago, and it was on.
Super good, and he really proves. I mean, I'm not gonna knock Alejandro anymore. I'm good with that.
There's no sob story. There's no terrible thing. It's just talent.
There's no light show or anything. There's literally just him. There's nothing going on behind him. He's just standing on a stage playing his guitar, and it's perfect.
Such a bummer because he can't win at this point, and I would have him
in the final at this point.
I would crown him. Like I think he is more talented than he puts on the best show. It's just epic to watch. It's like watching a movie. Like it captures your attention and it kind of just it's epic. I don't know. Anyway, I really enjoyed him. I'm bummed that he didn't make it through. I'm pulling for him for that. I mean, he didn't make it through kind of on the
way he should have made it.
He was better than Benicio. He was better than the choir. He was better than everyone.
The only one who I think was close was Eric Chen.
Well, I would have given Marcin the edge just because Eric Chen did have that one kind of hiccup, which we will talk about. We will talk about him actually right now. Let's move on to Eric Chen. He is a magician in the vein of he is Shinlim 2.0. Although
no, he's Shinlim 1.0. He's Shinlim.
All right, Eric. From what 2 Erics, you did not give this Eric your golden buzzer this season. I don't know where I was going with that.
I can tell you exactly where you're going with that. You're about to say why not, and I'll say because he's Shinlim.
All
and
right.
Shinlim's not going to win twice in a row.
Well, definitely not if Simon Cowell has anything to do with it.
Yes.
But for his performance, what did you think?
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really, really good. Really impressive. I have no idea how he did it. And he's so good, honestly. Based on talent, he should make top 10 at least. He won't, but he should.
He is very good. Like, very good. He's not Shin Lim, but he's pretty damn close.
He's way closer to the end than he has any right to be.
Yeah, the one thing I did notice, like one mistake though. There was one instance where he kind of had the Rubik's cubes, and one fell out, and it was like already perfectly organized, and there was that one hiccup. And another thing that I noticed was people were on YouTube. They were finding mistakes. Like this is not something I noticed, but people were noticing like when he would pull things out, when he would, it was not as perfect. Like with Shinlim, you just don't notice it because he's just a goddamn wizard and he literally pulls it out of thin air. But I can't stress enough how absolutely terrible Simon Cowell's advice was for Eric Chen.
Yeah.
What Simon wants Eric to do is to go like,
Dude, the four boxes is exactly
I was
what he
about
wants
to
him
say
do.
the 4 boxes. The 4 boxes, which for those of you who don't know, that is that cliche trick that we always see on America's Got Talent, where there are 4 boxes. One of them has a needle or something bad, and the magician correctly picks out which one that is and dramatically does it. And that's Simon Cowell is like, there's been like some dramatization where you see like a good angel appear on your shoulder and then a bad angel appear on your shoulder. Simon Cowell is the bad angel's bad angel. Like, he is the one like whispering, just what terrible advice. The thing is, didn't he give the same piece of advice though to Shin Lim?
Yeah.
How did that work out?
It worked out fine. Shinlim won the show.
Because he didn't listen to him. He
No,
didn't
did
do
actually
this.
listen to him for the last round.
He did?
Yeah, the whole point is that he did listen to him for the last round. The trick for the last round was much bigger. It
No,
wasn't as good of a trick, but it didn't matter because Shinlim was so good that he won the show.
All right, but where do you think Eric goes from here? Do you think he takes the advice or does he stay small?
If he's smart, he'll stay small and just hope that people just say Simon's wrong. But we'll see what happens. We'll know if he's screwed over if he does the 4 boxes. Let's cut the crap and say that if there are 4 boxes on stage when Eric Chen walks out, we're fucked.
He's very talented. Very, very, very talented. Let's move on though to Berry Warm. Beatbox. Beatbox. It's not a trio. It's
for
what's
4.
the word for 4?
Quartet, maybe? I don't
Quartet. So they are doing. It starts out with a couple. I think they were classical songs, honestly, and then it kind of launches into that goddamn song that I've heard a bajillion times, and every time I hear it, it just it's Old Town Road. What did you think about them, Eric?
I would have put them through. I would have. They're really good. I would have put them through over Jackie or a man or Dom or someone. I think they're really good.
For me, the thing is, this is too much like a wedding performer. Like it's I can see like the kids already like it's like
But here's the thing, they are good and they effectively did what they're trying to do. Jackie is a comedian that didn't make me laugh. A man we've seen a million times. Don wasn't a great magician. Mackenzie, I mean, I would have put them through.
I don't know if I could co-sign that because I just it's such a it's not an act that I think has what it takes. It's just
Oh, we're not gonna win, but they should make it through. I want to see him one more time.
I mean, it's funny. I was actually just at like a car store, and they were randomly just like playing YouTube highlights, and this is one of the highlights. And I watched it again a second time, and I don't know, like, isn't there a show for beatboxers, or was there?
There was.
I don't know. I'm kind of like a mixed bag. I don't really know what to really make of them, if that makes sense. Like I can appreciate that they're definitely talented. It's maybe just not so much my thing.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Well, let's move on to our wild card, Matthew Richardson. We talked about Matthew a little bit earlier in the show. He is he spins in a hoop and does tricks. What did you think?
I was dizzy watching it. Other than that, I wasn't too impressed. I wouldn't have gone as far as Simon and Buzz to be acts, but I wouldn't have put him for either.
I don't think I would have. First of all, if you make it to the live shows, well, in my perfect idea of what making to the live shows would mean, I would. You don't need this. You don't need the buzzers. Maybe. Do you
Agreed.
think?
Agreed.
Or definitely not for finale night. I mean, like, let the buzzers only serve to sway the votes.
Yes.
It's not. It's like to make a statement. Like the producers like, don't vote for this person. So I don't think we really need the buzzers or golden buzzers. Maybe now for these live shows. So was he the best performance? No. Bottom 4 for me, honestly, just because it was a little boring. There's kind of nothing that really goes on with this act. But we've seen so many aerialists that it takes a lot to an act like this to kind of impress me. It's just kind of so played out. Like there's we one time the closest thing we had was, I don't even remember this contestant's name, but I think Eric, you might. It was
animation behind them.
Yes, with animation.
Aerial animation.
That was the closest thing, like to.
That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite acts that year.
It was like a woman, and I remember there was one time
and there was like drawings and stuff behind her. It was great.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. That's the ceiling of what we've hit for this kind of act, and Matthew just he's nowhere to compare. It's kind of just, it is what it is. All right, well, we only have 3 more acts. Next up, we have Mackenzie. Mackenzie is performing Life on Mars by David Bowie, which is maybe my favorite David Bowie song kind of currently right now. This song kind of is making the rounds on these reality TV shows. But what did you think about Mackenzie's rendition?
So the problem with this song is I've heard people absolutely kill this song. Dalton Harris on X Factor last year, Grace Davis the year before, Sean Miley Moore a couple years back. This was so mediocre. And the problem with Mackenzie is that when he goes for the big notes, he's often a little bit off. But when he doesn't go for the big notes, it's boring. And the last note was kind of rough.
Here's my thoughts on Mackenzie. I believe that singers on America's Got Talent are held to a very high standard.
Yes, but even so, this wasn't that great.
The problem with Mackenzie is that he is not a great singer. He is a good singer. He is an average singer. He's not an amazing singer. He's no Brian Justin Crumb. He's just himself, and there's not a problem with that. But the thing is, a song like Life on Mars is a song for a Brian Justin Crumb contestant, and Mackenzie, it's like it's setting someone up to fail. There's no way he had the voice or the potential
to carry this song. You're right.
To live up to it. It's like as much as I knock Whitney Houston's song, it's like handing a 10-year-old girl who's kind of got like a quieter voice, like I Have Nothing. Like it's just you've set such an impossible goal for yourself that there's no way you're going to be able to kind of live up to it. When you look at your toolbox and what's kind of available to you, there was no way this is a situation, I believe, of production busing him, honestly.
Could be. Very well could be.
It's like reverse busing. It's like they give you the gift song, but you're not the contestant for that gift song.
Yeah.
Anyway, we lose him this round, and I think it's a fair ending for Mackenzie.
And
now it's time to laugh.
I wish.
Jackie Fabulous. She is a comedian. She one of our last comedians? How many? No, we have Brian.
We have Michael Ryan, who's way better.
All right. Well, what did you think about Jackie Fabulous, Eric?
Didn't laugh once. Sorry.
I didn't laugh either. I don't know what it is. It's like they dumb down these comedy acts where it's kind of so.
No, the thing is, I laugh at Ryan. I didn't laugh at Jackie once. So
What is the problem? Like, what is Jackie missing? That's kind of. Is it material?
it's
Is it
material.
that
It's
it's shorter?
100% material. No, she has a great personality and great presence on stage. It's the material that's the problem.
I feel like I'm preaching to the choir for how many times I've said this. Comedy comedy is a bracket of America's Got Talent that I believe should have 5 minutes at least. You cannot build like she had 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that is not nearly enough to make a connection with the audience. You need some more time. It's too damn short. Her jokes, they weren't funny. I didn't laugh.
We didn't find them funny. Let's be fair. People were laughing there, and so I'm gonna be a little bit nice because I think that comedy is subjective. I didn't find it funny, but clearly other people did.
I feel like America's Got Talent kind of makes most of their comedians kind of PG slash bordering on PG-13. There was
No,
like one or
PG, strictly PG.
there was one sex joke with Jackie Fabulous, but I don't know. Maybe it's like I for me I love here's how I like my comedy. It's either ridiculously stupid, like in the vein of like the Tape Base and the Leo Shemto. Those are the comedians that kind of get to me, and I'm one of those people that kind of likes a little bit of the edgy humor. Like I like where it's kind of maybe pushing the envelope. Jackie is just not anywhere near. It's too light. There's no depth to it. It's just there's nowhere to go.
Okay.
Anyway, other thoughts on Jackie?
Nope. I mean, she probably is cut next round because she needed the save. So.
Yeah, I think she's in trouble.
Yeah.
Jackie, you're in trouble. The bus might be coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our final act, Imane Biasha. Praying I got that right. She is a young opera singer. Every season we have one. There's always one. Right, Eric?
Yep. She's talented.
Young
We've
girl,
seen one of us act every single year.
literally every year. And she's performing a song. It's an opera song. I don't know opera.
She's
Like,
She's opera young girl performing opera song and getting standing ovation. It's the same formula every single year.
truly the same formula. I am going to make a prediction that she is going to be up for the Duncan save next week, and she's going to get cut by the judges. Because I think that's how it's gone in the past, right?
Quite possibly. I don't think she's making it through.
I think she's good. Like she's undeniably talented.
Well, she is undeniably talented, but I'm jaded at this point. I've seen one of these acts every year, so I'm less impressed by it.
It's almost like doing the same magic trick. It's like it's the same big notes they sound the same. Like it's kind of maybe it's because I don't know
what it is. And I'm gonna see if I can find this clip to put in. Did you ever see Inside Out?
I did.
The imaginary boyfriend generator is just the 12-year-old opera singer generator.
That's not fair. That's for every bracket. Like we have the dog act, we have the dance troupe, we have the young.
But in particular, the 10 to 12-year-old opera singer is identical every year.
If you put them next to each other, like I might not be.
Would you be able to tell them apart? I couldn't.
Every year, truly every year, like the same thing, and they're always in the pimp spot. They always have a big old ballad, and everyone's.
One of them always gets the golden buzzer. It's the same every year.
And maybe one of the judges cries. I'm with Eric. I'm with you. I'm jaded. I mean, she's undeniably talented, but it's so manufactured. It's so by the books. You could literally copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, those are our performances. Eric, who, if anyone, do you think are our takeaways from this episode?
Let's see. Unfortunately, Dom Chambers, for better or worse, is a takeaway. Eric Chen may be a takeaway. Honestly, other than those two, I think that I don't even know. I don't think any of them are gonna really go that far.
I would put those two, and I would just because I'm me, I would put Marcin.
Oh, ideally, Marcin would be the takeaway, but he needed the judges' save, so he's not.
All right, well, those are our performances. Eric, did you have any final thoughts on the episode, the week as a whole?
I have no more thoughts on America's Got Talent, but I do want to pivot a little bit because on Saturday, Britain's Got Talent, the Champions begins.
Yes, I've been seeing YouTube videos kind of popping up in my notifications of like confirmed acts, and I
Yep.
saw, I don't even remember. I saw a couple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
I'm excited for some of them. So this first week, I can tell you who the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 acts performing are.
all right, tell me.
So, spoiler alert, Ashley and Sully, Bad Salsa, who I don't know who they are, Bello and Annalise Knock, the Canon guy.
Yes, Bello Knock. There was actually the guest judge did one of the Bello Knock performances
Uh-huh.
with the wheel.
Yeah, I remember that. Boogie Storm, which I'm excited to see again, the Stormtrooper dancers. Connie Talbot, who was 6 when she was on Britain's Got Talent,
She's gonna
and
be like 20.
she is. She was on season 1. This is gonna be really interesting to see if she can sing.
She was the
Um,
runner-up.
she was she was in the final. She was one of the top 6.
I think she was the runner-up.
She might have been.
All right, go on.
Ksenia Simonova,
Okay.
talent artist. Nelson Twins, I don't know who they are. Paul Potts is back, and the Sacred Rihanna.
I'm excited for Sacred Rihanna.
I'm excited for watching these acts. I'm gonna be watching. So, and maybe we'll talk about some of it next week.
I might watch only YouTube clips. YouTube clips.
And that's fine, but we'll talk about some of them next week. So.
All right. Well, I want to say that I'm Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox or on my 2 websites, AdamSoapbox.com and AdamCVblog.com. It's a funny story. I actually yesterday recorded a podcast for a different channel. One of my old teachers asked me to be on her show to interview. So there's going to be that podcast kind of coming out in the next couple of days. I don't know when. You can follow me on Twitter. I will share the link. The podcast is called Losing It. I shared a story about me losing something. I'm not going to tell you what, but you can check out the podcast and you can hear it all there. Where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter, Eric Ascher01 on YouTube, ericascher.com.
All right. Well, another week in the books. 3 more to go.
See you next week for the first semifinal plus a little bit of touching on BGT champions.
And busting. There will be busting.
And there will be a little bit of champions discussion in there too. So.
All right, guys. This was fun. We will see you next week. Until then, peace.